everybody, how are you? This is Andreja, and in today's video let's chat about airbrushes. In the previous episode we talked about compressors, which are needed to power an airbrush. So if you haven't seen that video yet, have a look. Before I begin, I just wanted to say that I am no expert, so take my words with a grain of salt. All that I will be talking about is based on my own basic knowledge and my personal experience. So I've tried 3 different airbrushes so far, and my Iwata is the oldest and the only one that I still use. My airbrush is an HP A+ model. It is commonly used by makeup artists and fingernail artists because of its small needle and nozzle size, which lets you achieve really fine details. It doesn't have a paint cap since this model is built for small-scale work, but I've never had any issues with that even when painting fantasy parts for dolls. The default needle size is 0.2 mm, and I've always used that one, but if you are working on a larger area, you can purchase a 0.3 mm needle, which will let you release larger amount of paint faster compared to the 0.2 mm needle. My Iwata uses a gravity feed, which basically means that I rely on gravity to push the paint down the mixing chamber. That is why gravity feed airbrushes have paint compartments up top. There are airbrushes that have a siphon feed system, but those ones are mostly used for work that require large amount of paint, so that, for example, you can leave a container of paint on the floor and then connect it via a tube to the airbrush. But for most doll-related work, gravity feed will be more than enough and probably easier to use and clean. The next feature of this airbrush is its double action trigger, which means that to use your airbrush you will need to firstly press down the trigger for air and then pull the trigger back to release the paint. Double action lets you choose how much paint you want to release, while if you buy a single action airbrush you will always spray the same amount of paint at a time. I find double action better because, for example, I always need more paint flow for the cheeks than for the eyeshadow. So by being able to tweak that on the spot by how much I press the trigger back, it makes it really easy to use. My Iwata has an internal mix system, which is generally deemed as better because it gives you a more consistent and even spray. There are external mix airbrushes too, but I heard that those produce an oval or D-shaped spray shape. For our dolls, we usually want a nice round spray shape, so that we can get those lovely round sprayed cheeks. So these are all the features that I recommend picking whenever you're shopping for an airbrush. Also, just letting you know that I've tried cheaper airbrushes with those exactly same specs, but they all lasted me only for a short while before they started having all sorts of issues. I feel that investing into a brand that is known to be producing high quality airbrushes, such as Badger, Pache and Iwata, will be worth the investment in the long run. Especially, if you're still learning, it is hard enough being a beginner. So you don't want to make things even more difficult by using a tool that might cause you issues from the start. I bought my airbrush from eBay, but you can also get it from Amazon. And depending on where you live, you might find them in your local art and crafts store too. Just have a look around or simply Google something like where to buy Iwata airbrush in so-and-so country or so-and-so city. This is what I do when trying to find where to buy certain equipment, because we all come from different parts of the world and we don't all have the same stores. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. In the upcoming episodes, I will show you how to use an airbrush, how to clean it, how to put it apart, and other topics. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave them in the description box so that I know which topics not to forget. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you again next week. Bye!